Good morning, everyone. I think we can get started. It's 9 o'clock. The first important announcement to make is the Wi-Fi password. We are using the Skirvin 900. That's the link you can click on. And then the password is Skirvin 2021. That is the name of the hotel. Capital S Skirvin 2021. So if you're having any connectivity issues, just talk to any one of the conference staff members and they will see if we can fix you up. So is everybody inside? All right. Hi. And welcome to the 41st meeting of the North American Cartographic Information Society and the 20th Practical Cartography Day. I am Travis White. I am the Vice President-elect, and I am the co-organizer of PCD alongside Katy Perry and Wenfei Xu, who are currently watching the live stream and are on Slack. We are so excited to present this incredible slate of speakers, these maps, and our social events for both our in-person and our virtual audiences. Here at the start, I want to acknowledge that we are hosting this conference on land that is the traditional territory of the Kickapoo, Osage, Kiowa, and Comanche as mapped by native lands, and that the lands extending throughout the state of Oklahoma were originally inhabited by many tribes, and that currently 39 federally recognized tribal nations dwell here as a result of many harmful colonial and federal policies. It is important for us, I believe, to reflect on this, since so many of us make our living making representations of these spaces and these lands. We have a very busy day today. It's a jam-packed schedule with all things maps. But before we dive into the schedule, I do want to review our new and evolving efforts to engage our new virtual audience. So we now, this year, have a hybrid conference. So we have a mix of both in-person, obviously, and virtual attendees. And I want to call special attention to the efforts of Mamitha, Nick, Jenny, Martha, Kate, and Pat, who did the hard work of making this hybrid NASIS a reality. And they also last year laid the groundwork for our virtual spaces. If you did attend last year's conference, the virtual component should look pretty familiar to you. The first things first, you want to screenshot, write down, or bookmark this link. This is where the conference toolkit is located. And at the top of the page are tabs which link to the major components of our conference. We have the live stream feed, the social media, Slack and Twitter links, our virtual events, the map galleries, and our merch store, and the conference schedule. If you attended, again, if you attended Virtual NASIS last year, much of this will be familiar. I'm only going to review, I think, the two most critical components today, which are Sched and Slack. And for our virtual audience, I assume that if you are watching me now, you have already figured out the live stream. But if you have not, there is a place you can go for help on Slack. But first, we'll talk about Sched. Sched contains our official, most up-to-date program information. So please keep an eye out, as any program updates will be posted directly to Sched. When you open Sched, make sure that up in the upper right-hand corner that you set it to your preferred time zone. We are using Central Daylight Time since that is the time zone in which OKC is located. So make sure that you do have the correct time so you don't miss any of the talks or sessions that you wish to view or attend. You can also filter Sched by date if you want to minimize the amount of clutter on your screen. There we go. And be sure to take advantage of the Add to My Sched button to tailor your desired conference schedule. This will help you keep track of which talks you want to attend and when and where they will occur. And then moving on to Slack, if you do not already have Slack, then right now I would take the time to download it and join, because that is where our virtual audience is congregating to discuss the live stream, and it is where our virtual presenters will Q&A with both the in-person and virtual attendees. The conference toolkit has a handy Slack quick start link, a direct link to the NACES Slack workspace, and some helpful status flare, which will help you identify other members, particularly board members, first-time attendees, and presenters. Every session has its own Slack channel, and nearly all virtual presenters will be present in their respective channels for the duration of their sessions. So whether you are attending remotely or sitting here in the room, you can log on to Slack during a pre-recorded talk and converse with the speaker. I do want to highlight quickly just two channels, announcements and help attendee. The announcements is where we will communicate any meaningful conference info just as soon as it becomes available. And for instance, the enormously talented Bill and Sathian put together a helpful post that's covering the ground rules, Slack, suggestions for getting started, and links to important channels and websites. If you haven't read this post or you need a Slack refresher, then I would go ahead and do that right now. We have multiple virtual board members and volunteers who will monitor all of the Slack feeds throughout the conference. The Help Attendee channel is where you can post any question or concern you may have, and you'll be confident that you will receive immediate attention, either from a conference staff member or from a helpful fellow attendee. And of course, we expect all in-person and virtual participants to follow the NACES Code of Conduct throughout the meeting. If you are unfamiliar with our code, or if you need a refresher, you can find it under the Society tab of our website. Importantly, if you are being harassed or you are observed that someone else is being harassed, or if you have any other concerns about the conduct of another attendee, then please reach out to a member of the conference team or on Slack immediately. And then if you are here in Oklahoma City, then as per our COVID-19 policy, you are required to be vaccinated and to adhere to a strict masks policy in any indoor NACES event space. There is one obvious exception, an important exception, and that is for presenters who may opt not to wear a mask while they are speaking at the podium. This will, if you do take off your mask while speaking, this will help our virtual audience and our in-person audience more clearly understand as we are the speaker. You may read the full policy on the conference webpage. As with our code of conduct, if you feel someone is exhibiting reckless behavior or ignoring the policy, please reach out to a conference staff member. So moving on to today's events. Again, welcome to the 20th Practical Cartography Day. I will be moderating here in person. And Katie Perry and Wenfei Xu will be share moderating duties on Slack. Today we have 4 sessions featuring 18 virtual and 6 in-person speakers. This is a brand new thing for us, so these mix of both live and virtual presentations, virtual pre-recorded presentations. So this is definitely going to be a learning experience for all of us. The sessions begin at 9 a.m., 10:45 a.m., 1:30 p.m., and 3:30 p.m. Central Time. And there will be the standard coffee and meal breaks in between. Some of our speakers are well-known NACES lifers, and others are first-time presenters, so we are excited for every single one of them. 2 of the biggest changes from our previous conferences just stem from the fact that we do have a mix of virtual and in-person presenters. So first, in-person audience will not directly Q&A with virtual presenters. And all virtual presentations are pre-recorded in order to minimize any lags or delays in the live stream. So we encourage our in-person presenters to check the session Slack channel immediately at the end of their talk or session to see if there are any questions posted there from the virtual audience. And then similarly, we encourage our in-person audience to log on to Slack so that they can chat directly with the virtual presenters and attendees and just see what conversations may be going on during the talks. Following PCD are our two annual events, the keynote and the welcome reception / map gallery opening. The keynote begins at 7 p.m. Central. It will be live streamed. And it will be given by Tristan Atone and Robert Lee, who will discuss their Landgrab University's investigation and publication. And then following the keynote at 8 p.m. Central is our traditional opening reception and map gallery. This event will occur both in person in the next room over and virtually on Remo. You can visit the conference toolkit for more information and links. Now, there are so many thank yous. So many people have put in so much effort to make this, pull this hybrid conference off. And actually, I'm not going to display all of the names here because when I started typing it up, it was just super small font. And so just throughout the day, I will be calling out specific people and thanking them for their contributions. I would also like to remind you that you have raffle tickets in front of you, and at the end of each session of the 4 sessions today, we will have a couple of raffle drawings so you can get some of our sweet NACES swag. So without further ado, let us move on to our talks.